What's here, y'all? Welcome back to Red at the Wire. Well, we're in the middle of looking at our contender profiles for the Belmont Stakes, and no better one to take a look at than the Preakness winner, Journalism. He is certainly one of the big three, along with Sovereignty and Baeza. And after that Preakness win, I mean, he just stamped his, as if he didn't, he wasn't already established as one of the top 3-year-olds. I think that firmly did it in the Preakness without a doubt. Controversial ride, to say the least. A lot of opinions on it, but the fact remains Journalism won the race, and he did so very impressively, where even Larry Kolmos didn't think he was going to do it. Uh, he's trained by Mike McCarthy, Umberto Rispoli aboard. He's encountered a fair amount of criticism, and one of the things I harkened back to is they said that a lot of things you've been hearing about Alberto Rispoli, they said about Ron Turcotte with Secretariat, that he was a good jockey who could put a horse in a bad place. And I think, in retrospect, you'd have to say that Umberto has been guilty of that in the Santa Anita Derby. With a small field, he still found a way to get into trouble to a certain extent. And then the Kentucky Derby, a little bit of trouble early, was able to bull his way through. And, of course, the Preakness, same thing. This horse is a bull. And he certainly, one of the comments I had made is that with any other horse, you would have to very much question Umberto Rispoli's riding the Preakness. But with Journalism, you can't, because he's just an alpha male like his father, Curlin. I expect, he's certainly one of the top contenders for the Belmont Stakes without a doubt. We'll look at the pedigree. We all know it by now, I think. And you see Curlin on top, Uncle Mo on the bottom. Plenty of good balance, a little skewed towards stamina for the Conduit Mare profile. And you do see, again, we'll harken back to the genetic strength value score. That is one of the higher ones. It is not as accurate a figure, but it does indicate some really solid pedigree. Not that it's a factor at this point. We know he can get the distance, and especially since it's at 1.25 miles, so we're not going to worry about that too much. We'll look at the running lines, and you see one thing that is kind of interesting is that he did receive a higher Brisnet number than the Kentucky Derby, and it probably is expected. It's a shorter distance, I guess, but when you consider all the trouble and whatnot he had, I guess it would be logical to give him a higher one. What I like is, you can look at this and see that he was on a steady Brisnet progression all the way through the Santa Anita Derby, where he received his highest Brisnet number, and it continued to increase. And then he had a 102 in the Kentucky Derby, and it's almost like he's starting a new form cycle. But the Brisnet, the class numbers just keep increasing. So he just had a marvelous progression into the Kentucky Derby, ran an excellent race, and 9 times out of 10, it probably would have won. Just Sovereignty was a little better, and that's really all you can say. Came right back in the Preakness, dispelled any issues we thought he might have with running back on 2 weeks rest. Mike McCarthy said he had done it at 2 years old, and I suppose he's the best authority on it. So will he be able to come back and do it again on 3 weeks rest? We'll see. But I'll tell you, the thing about I'm not as concerned about it as I would be with perhaps other horses, is because he's by Curlin and he's just tough, and you go back to Curlin, he won the Preakness, and he ran an excellent Belmont Stakes. He got beat by Rags to Riches, who ran a monster race as well after she stumbled at the gate. But the fact remains is that Curlin ran an excellent race, and he ran in all 3 jewels of the Triple Crown. So I think Journalism, the kind of class that he has, I think that he should be competitive in the Belmont. There may be other issues as to why he doesn't win, but he's certainly one of the horses to consider. We'll look at our first take. Great progression, positive. Proven versus higher caliber. He's the highest 2-turn speed figures, and he's got the stamina. All positives. Should have no problem. The only question is, of course, with all of them, is whether he likes Saratoga or not, because he's never run on it. But aside from that, he looks pretty good. What's the negative? Only that I put Third Jewel as a question mark in that he's the only horse who's running all three. And whether or not, especially after that Preakness, which was such a big effort to get up at the wire, whether or not he's got enough in the tank to win the Belmont. Uh, it's an interesting race shape at the outset. You got a lone front runner who maybe be able to get on the lead and go, but the way I look at it is, this year more than anything, there's just such a separation between the top 3-year-olds and everybody else, and I don't know that Rodriguez is necessarily commensurate with the top three. So, I think journalism's all systems should be go. And again, if it was another horse with a weaker constitution, let's say, I might be a little concerned, but I'm not with journalism. I think he's going to be very competitive in the race, and whether or not he'll be good enough to win with Sovereignty back in the race remains to be seen. But it's going to be, hopefully, it'll be a good second instance of the rivalry. Kind of like Ali Frazier. We'll have. And then the third will be the Travers, the Thrill in Manila. Kind of hoping for that. But journalism, I think, without a doubt, is one of the top horses in the Belmont. I think we'd all agree on that. So we're going to have more contender profiles for the rest of the field for the Belmont Stakes. We'll have a full presentation, final analysis of the race, and individual post as well. Full card selections, best bets, value plays, all that good stuff for Belmont Saturday at Saratoga. It looks like it's going to be a great day of racing, and I'm going to be there, so it should be pretty cool. If you do like content like this, of course, please like and subscribe. And again, thanks so much to all of you who continue to make for a very robust community at Right at the Wire. We love it, and we thank you for it. Please keep up with the comments. I know there's going to be several this week, and loving that. And I think it's going to benefit us all. So keep up with your comments for sure. So that's it from here. I'll talk to you soon. And until then, be well.